Alright, what's up YouTube? It's Kane Loaded here. And this is my kind of like a follow-up video on why I chose a 10.5 inch, 10 and a half inch barrel for my personal home defense slash AR pistol. So let's get to it. Alright man, so before we get started, we are in a safe and controlled environment, man. As you can see, it's nothing in the chamber. We are clear. So obviously I wanted to show this while I talk about obviously why I chose one. But I'm gonna basically give, this is basically like 5 reasons. It's probably not gonna be in the title. One reason is, in my opinion, price at the time, and also availability. I think 10 and a half inch, from what I see, I basically got this. Got this from Palmetto State Army PSA. It's just a wide variety range of 10.5 inch over 11.5. You know what I'm saying? It's just more options to choose from at a really good price, affordable price, because that's all I'm about on my channel. Good, affordable, budget. I know it's subjective on what people think budget is, but budget, in my opinion, I think a lot of other people's opinion, like for AR, you know what I'm saying, build, whether you're building one, buying one, I want to say anywhere from sub $500 to $1,000. That's budget, in my opinion. And obviously you got those $1,000+ dollar rifles, Daniel Defense, you know what I'm saying, and the other ones. Reason number 2, it's shorter, easy to maneuver. Every inch do matter, you know what I'm saying. Every inch does matter. Every inch does count and matter in terms of a barrel length, and especially for using it around the house. Now, obviously, like I said, I got this for home defense, and obviously, around your home, if you know your home well, I hope you know it quite well. You live in it, you live there every day. You know your layout of your home. However your layout is, I know everybody's home is laid out differently. But I'm pretty sure we all got in common hallways and corners. And obviously with the shorter barrel, you can maneuver way better with the shorter barrel. So, you can maneuver better with a 10 and a half inch than an 11 and a half inch. People say performance. Yeah, I know it shoot 300, up to 300 plus more yards, feet per second. And you got me on that one. And that's also a reason why I was gonna choose 11 and a half inch. But that brings me into my third reason on why I chose 10 and a half inch. Third reason, conveniency. It's more convenient. A 10 and a half inch is more convenient. Because we're not going to be shooting, like I said, I got this for home defense. I feel like even if you had a truck gun, and I got a thing on truck guns. I don't think truck guns are necessary for certain people. Definitely wouldn't be necessary for me. But truck guns and things like that, I wouldn't really use this for. I actually got another gun that I'm building that I would consider basically kind of like a all-around gun. It's a pistol, but the caliber is kind of all around. You can kind of use it for a truck gun, but that's for another video. We're going to focus on this right here. But most self-defense situations, home defense situations, most civilians, you're not going to be firing over 300 yards. You're not going to be shooting over 300 yards, right? Some people don't even train 300 yards. 20, 25 yards, you can say even 30 yards. I feel like honestly 50 yards, you're kind of pushing it, right? Especially for home defense. But most of the time, like in home defense situations, you're looking at 10 to 15 yards. You can even say 10 to 20 to 25 yards. But nobody's going to be shooting beyond 300 yards, and that's where the 11.5 inch, you can say, outperforms the 10.5. But nobody's going to be shooting beyond that, you know? If you're a range head, you know, you go to the range, you train, you're going to the range probably like almost once a week, and you know, you're getting a lot of repetitions, and you know, you're training and you competition shooting, things like that. That's a whole nother story. But for me, a casual shooter going to the range, and you know what I'm saying, casually just having fun, breaking in your rifle, getting familiar with it, training with it, using it often, getting hang to it, and just using it for what I intended for it to be, which is home defense. I don't really need that. You know what I'm saying? 300 shooting over 300 yards is not really something that I would be doing. You know, fourth reason, ammunition. In today's time, in today's generation, as technology advances, you know, we have law enforcement going from something like a Glock 22 towards back to the Glock 17, and that's because of the ammunition. You have 9mm ammunition outperforming 40 caliber. You literally have that. It's ballistical gel tests. Like you can actually go see that. That's why law enforcement went back to the 9mm, because it's like what's the point? Like I said, they went to the 10mm because of the shooting in Miami that happened, and you know, the firepower. You know, they got outgunned by some criminals, and that's when the 10mm came about. And you know, then it was like the 10mm hits a little too hard, packs too much of a punch for everyday carry, casual, you know, everyday carry, you know what I'm saying? It's just, it kicks a little too hard. So they cut it down, basically chopped it in half, went to the 40 caliber. And now here we are in today's technology. And it's just getting more advanced and better. These companies are putting out really good ammunition. And they say, man, we might as well go back to the 9mm. It's just getting too good. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it brought me to say ammunition. What you mean by that? With how good the ammunition is, it kind of really doesn't matter too much. For what you would rather use for 11.5 inch, you know, versus 10.5. We got polymer tip VMAX, you know. We got black tip, which is not really black tip. Is in a way, it's kind of like VMAX. Like it kind of, you know, when it hits a solid object, it kind of dissipates in fragments, and that's what a home defense round should do. So if you're shooting a home defense round out of a 10.5 inch versus 11.5 inch, there's really not too much of a difference. It really just depends on the ammunition at that point. And if you bump up to a heavier bullet, you know, over a 55 grain, which is I wouldn't shoot out of this, but if you bump up, you know, unless you're training, but for home defense, no. If you bump up to a heavier bullet, 62 grain or something, coming out of a short barrel, it's gonna come out slower. You know, it's gonna be a heavier bullet, it's gonna come out slower. Heavy, you know, it's just basic physics, heavier, slower. And it coming out of a 10.5 inch, and you know, a VMAX, a polymer tip, which is what I would recommend, it's gonna perform great. It's gonna perform well. You know what I'm saying? And reason number 5, man, suppressors. suppressors, a suppressor on a 10.5 inch is more maneuverable and manageable than a suppressor on 11.5. I want to say suppressors can add an extra, what, 3 to 4 inches onto your barrel. So with a 10.5, I'll probably be looking at 13. With a 11, you can be looking at 14, maybe 15 inches. You know what I'm saying? Almost a 16-inch barrel at that point. Yeah, man, it's gonna add a little extra height to it. You know what I'm saying? Which can affect the maneuverability for it. You know what I'm saying? And you know, that can be a problem, and you know, it can be, but with proper training, you know, obviously getting used to it, you wouldn't really have a problem. You know what I'm saying? And basically, like a honorable mention in a way. I don't really want to say reason 6 because I said 5, but weight. You know, obviously, you know, a 10.5 inch barrel weighs less than 11.5 inch. You know, it's not as much metal. You know what I'm saying? It's shorter. You take the extra inch off. You know what I'm saying? Add it on. It helps. It makes it weigh less. So, you know, that's them are kind of, you know, my 5 reasons. And like I said, you can let me know in the comments. If you have a 11.5 inch build, you let me know why you didn't choose 10.5. Or if you have a 10.5, you put in some extra reasons down in the comments on why you would prefer 10.5 over 11.5. I didn't even do 7.5 because I just feel like I don't think, like I said, this is a 5.56. You know, that's what I'm speaking about. I don't have, if it's not a 300 blackout or anything like that, I don't know why on earth you would choose a 7.5 for a 5.56 unless you really want to not hear anything for the rest of your life. But yeah, man, so that's really all I have, man. You know, and yeah, this is my 10.5. This is, you know, them are the reasons why I chose it. And hey man, I'll see y'all, man. I'm out.